The round windows on churches might be light magnetrons. Language is a cage that can be used to keep you trapped. And the Eiffel Tower has way more secrets than we're led to believe. Let's get into it.
Can you see the shape of these windows? Circular, very important, not square, circular or oval, etc. And we start seeing very obvious magnetron-shaped windows. And once you know that light and sound are inextricably connected, if you send light through a magnetron shape, it will create a magnetron effect.
So first of all, I always wondered why those round windows didn't have any like Jesus-y figures or something church-related or religious in those, and they always just seem to be colorful and really pretty. And they're on a lot of the churches in the same spots. And I always thought it was weird that they didn't have any, religious stuff on it.
The shape of the window will take the frequency of the light and amplify it because it's in the shape of a magnetron. It's spectacular. So the light from outside goes through the magnetron structures into the church, into the cathedral. It amplifies it because the cathedral is just an ambient chamber. And now you got this magnetron amplification of the light that shoots out the spires and through the top of the cathedral. It's like laser transfer. You can take the information of an egg from a salamander or a lizard, you put a laser beam through a fertilized lizard egg, and you point the laser at the infertile frog egg, and the frog will become a lizard.
Did you know about that one too? That's so weird that you can shoot light at one egg and shoot it at another egg and transfer the information. There's something weird going on there. That's a thing that they can do. What's that all about? There's something weird there. There's something real weird there.
The light takes the information and deposits it from one to the other. That's what happens. The light comes in through the window, takes the information of the light and amplifies it inside the chamber. Magnetron-shaped windows in cathedrals is suddenly a dead giveaway that this is very, very advanced technology that we're only waking up to now.
Let's ask ChatGPT about that one. Let's ask what magnetrons can do to light. Yo, ChatGPT, what can you do with a magnetron and light?
So a magnetron is the device inside a microwave oven that generates microwaves. On its own, it doesn't really interact with visible light directly. Microwaves are a totally different part of the electromagnetic spectrum. But when you use a magnetron to generate microwaves, those microwaves can heat certain materials, causing them to glow or emit light, like when food gets hot enough or when certain objects can incandesce. Just to be clear, though, don't go tinkering with magnetrons outside of a microwave. They're not safe to handle casually.
I was watching a video that was talking about how churches might be in the shape of magnetrons and the windows of these churches are round and that they look like they might be some sort of amplifier. Can you tell me about that?
That idea is part of what's called Tartaria or mudflag theories, alternative history narratives that claim old buildings, especially grand cathedrals or structures, were actually advanced energy devices. The magnetron comparison is a modern reinterpretation, where people see architectural shapes, like domes or rose windows, as analogous to resonators or amplifiers. In reality, those architectural elements have religious, aesthetic, and practical purposes: acoustics, symbolism, or structural stability. While it's fun to speculate, there's no evidence that historical churches were secret energy devices.
If you were to make one that resonated like the way that they tell us in these Tartaria theories, do you think that these shapes of these buildings would be good shapes with the domes and everything?
Architecturally, domes do resonate sound well. Think of how acoustics work in cathedrals. But for electromagnetic resonance or energy generation, shapes alone won't cut it. Real energy devices need materials and designs tuned to specific frequencies and physics. So, while domes are fantastic for echoing a choir, they wouldn't amplify or generate electromagnetic energy in the way those theories suggest.
There's got to be some just stuff that we're missing and that we're not putting into. Basically, ChatGPT's like, yeah, that's still probably a good shape for if you're going to do what these buildings were claimed to do. So that's just funny to me.
Take a look at this video I took of the moon the other day. Now, logically, by looking at the angle of the light reflecting on the moon, we can assume that if the source of illumination is the sun, then we can deduce that the position of the sun should be in this direction. And we also have to correct for the three-dimensional aspect, which would also position the sun slightly forward, such as is indicated by this arrow. Now, I think that we can all fundamentally agree that this is the correct deduction. So now, let's zoom out and see if the sun is where we predicted it would be. And we can now clearly see that the sun is nowhere near where it should be. Now, I made another video.
So I brought this one up just because this is an easy one that you can debunk yourself if you're just out and about. See if this stuff holds true. I forget to look at these details, but these details do matter. Something's happening, whether it's just a scientific fact that light bends over and, somehow it's just light reflecting from the moon is lit up by light reflecting from the sun, and it makes sense. But we just don't know how because it's bending around the atmosphere or some baloney. I don't know. Could be. I don't know. But this is when you can take a look at it anytime. So drop in the comments below if you've had any experiences with this or you've seen some really weird things where it shouldn't be. Or like I always find it really weird that you see the sun and the moon lit up like next to each other at all, because you would think that the sun is behind the moon and that, you wouldn't see that nice lit up moon. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't know.
What if language is the cage? There's a linguistics theory called the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. It suggests that words you have shape the reality you can perceive. Some languages have dozens of words for snow. Some have none. Some cultures have no past tense. Some have no future tense. And their perception of time changes because of it. Now, zoom out. If you don't have a word for something, can you fully see it? Ancient traditions believed creation began with the word. Modern neuroscience shows inner dialogue affects emotion, stress, even physiology. So what if your limits aren't real? They're vocabulary limits. If you constantly say, I'm overwhelmed, I'm anxious, I'm stuck, your nervous system believes it, but change the language and you change the lens. Not magically, neurologically. What if growth starts with updating the words you use to describe yourself?
I'm invincible. I'm on top of the world. I can do anything. But it's true. It's really weird that if you don't have the language for these things, then you just don't see it, or you don't notice it, or you don't have a term for it. There's been plenty of times you're like, oh, I didn't know that's what that was called. I didn't know that's what a magnetron was. I didn't know that's what, I didn't know what that was. That's why I like to bring up a lot of these old world buildings a lot. I like to bring up a lot of old structures and a lot of things and bring things to people's attention, because if you don't have the words, or if you just never thought about it, the things are invisible. The same buildings that I'm endlessly fascinated right now have been there long before I've been around. They're here. And I just went past not thinking about them for a second. I just think, that's an old building. It looks old, and we're told that it's old and needs some updating. Look at what they used to do. It kind of looks old. And this is just some silly style they did when they first came in, and we kind of changed styles to a more sleek, modern, crappier engineered building. I don't know. It's crazy.
What if I told you the Eiffel Tower's true purpose has been hidden from us for over a century? The tower isn't just a landmark or just some tourist trap. No. This thing was built as a giant antenna. Most folks believe it's just a fancy symbol of Paris, of steel and progress. But no, its secrets, if known, could have changed everything. The tower was finished in 1889 for the...
I was just saying yesterday how everything is made in like 1890. Everything, the whole world came to place. And I was talking about stuff in the United States. I was talking about an old building that somebody was showing, and then I was showing you guys. And everywhere, Everything was made in 1890. Look at all the buildings around you, and they're 1889. Just somewhere within in a 10-year span of that, it's like everything was made, or they just claim or said, "Hey, we're just throwing that on there," or we just throw the extra one in front, and it was really, a different year altogether.
World's Fair. A temporary exhibit, they said. But here's where it twists. Tesla himself visited
Another structure that stands from a temporary World's Fair exhibit. I did a video on the World's Fairs. These things are weird. Every time I play these videos, there's so many things I want to talk about that I forget because I'm looking at this camera and I'm wearing these headphones and it makes me feel stupid. But there's so much cool stuff and I'm going to keep on bringing it up. They're weird. This is just more stuff.
Paris in the 1880s. Yes, Nikola Tesla, the man who wanted to give the world free energy. And during that visit, he met with Gustav Eiffel, shared his wild ideas, wireless electricity, power through the air, no wires, no grid. Eiffel, he listened, and he built that open lattice design. It's not just for looks, it's function, a resonator, a conductor. And then the reports began. Strange lights, electric hums in the night, sparks dancing on metal, locals whispering of secret experiments after dark, newspapers dropping hints, then silence. The truth is simple and buried. The Eiffel Tower wasn't just a tower. It was a machine. A missed revolution in plain sight.
This is just a theory, not a fact.
It's so interesting. Let's ask ChatGPT if there's any cool, interesting facts about the Eiffel Tower. Yo, ChatGPT, I hear a lot that the Eiffel Tower could be some power generator. Would it be a good shape or design for something like that? And how far deep does it go underground?
The Eiffel Tower, as iconic as it is, wasn't designed to generate power. Its shaped and iron lattice structure was built for stability and height, primarily as a centerpiece for the 1889 World's Fair. While tall structures can be used for radio or antenna purposes, the Eiffel Tower shape isn't optimized for energy production, like a modern wind turbine or solar structure might be. As for underground depth, the Eiffel Tower doesn't have deep foundations like some modern skyscrapers. Its footings go about 7 meters, around 23 feet into the ground. It's stable due to the wide base and careful engineering, not deep anchoring. In other words, it's a fantastic monument, but not a hidden power plant.
Doubt it. It's a hidden power plant. We all know it's a hidden power plant.
What's up with the copper cup? We talk about copper all the time. Copper is very beneficial for the body, all the connective tissues, very healing for the brain, helps with digestion, helps with energy, helps with mental clarity. Also, that's why they used to have copper pipes in all the homes, but now they got PVC DuPont plastic, and they're actually paying people to get rid of their copper pipes. So when you ask about why the government would pay people to get rid of their copper pipes, you should probably keep them. That's for sure. Shouldn't switch to those people.
I agree. Anytime that the government is telling you to do something with something that's been working for a long time, that's really great like this, and I know there's some things that are dangerous and misused and can be dangerous and misused and you can get hurt. Mercury is one of those, but that doesn't mean we should ban all mercury. Lead paint, sure, but I don't remember the last kid ever eating a paint chip in my life, I don't know what the deal is, but there's something to copper. I know there's something to copper.
PVC DuPont garbage plastic. Because once that hot water goes through those PVC pipes, guess what's happening all over your body? Putting vinyl chloride all over your skin. So that's the whole copper. Copper's pretty amazing.
Stupid copper. I mean, stupid plastic, because copper's cool. Let's ask ChatGPT. Yo, ChatGPT, why did they switch from copper plumbing to PVC plumbing, other than the fact it's a little cheaper and easier to use?
Beyond cost and ease, PVC has some practical advantages. It doesn't corrode or scale like metal pipes, so water quality stays stable over time. It's also lighter and easier to install in tight spaces. Plus, PVC doesn't conduct electricity, which can be an advantage in certain environments. So it's not just cheaper, it's low maintenance and durable too.
ChatGPT reminds me of a good point. These pipes could have been more electrically charged, which means maybe we're keeping that charge in whatever the water is, or, you know, balancing it somehow to make it structured once again in some sort of way. But that's all the videos I got for you today. If you like this video, like and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow. Have a lovely day.